everyone, welcome to the channel. Regular followers of the channel will know we've got a playlist on special needs, and also watch the vlogs to realise that Ben is autistic. But what is autism? Could anyone tell me what autism is? Autism is a condition that affects impairments in social interaction and developmental language and communication skills, combined with repetitive behaviours, and e.g. they like to say things over and over again in the routine. But because the autistic spectrum is so wide now, symptoms can vary from person to person. So Ben's autism is severe, that he'll need care he'll need care for the rest of his life. There's no way Ben can lead a normal independent life. But say someone who is autistic at the higher end of the spectrum, they probably can lead a very independent normal life. Obviously that might need some monitoring or sort of make sure they're okay, but they'll be able to lead a relatively normal life, get out and get a job, maybe get married and stuff. But we know for the fact that's not going to happen to Ben. Children with autism have trouble communicating. They have trouble understanding what other people think and feel, and they make it very hard for them to express themselves with words or through gestures like through facial expressions and touch. Also, a child, or even an adult actually, with ASD is very sensitive and be greatly trouble, but is sometimes pain by sounds, touches, smells and stuff like that. Because I know with Ben, he hates loud noises. He puts his hands over his ears. Even with, like, he got a motorbike going up the road, he'll put his hand over his ears like this. Again, we've always thought it was something to do with his hearing, and it's because it's always something we've been used to with him. But no, again, it's just something in the brain or something. We've been doing a bit of research over the internet, and we've recently, obviously Ben's been on a gluten-free diet now, because one of the research we found, kids with autism have been proven to, not say get better or anything like that, but sometimes their behaviours can improve. And it's something to do with the brain can't process the gluten or something properly. It's quite complex to understand, but we've said Ben's been on this gluten-free diet now a while, and it seems to help him as such. Also with children with autism, sometimes they can have SPD, which is sensory processing disorder as well. They tend to go hand in hand. But Ben is so sensory. He loves water, he loves sand. That's when we go away to the coast, is there with the sand, he runs it through his fingers like this. And when we're out and about also, we like to touch this, he go like this along the railings or even on wooden fence posts, and he's even touched a few people's cars, because I don't know if he just likes the sense of it, I don't know. Also, you have to be careful with radiators, because obviously when they're on, I'll touch radiators and they'll burn his hands. Again, that's the sensation he likes. Also, people with autism, they tend to have like the repetitive stereotype behaviour, like they sometimes rock, they panic, they hand flap, and they have unusual responses to people, like attaching to objects. E.g., people probably realise when we're out and about, then with Spring, he's whistling, Spring has to go everywhere with him, he even takes it to school with him. It's good for him though, because I suppose he's got the sense of being safe with himself or something, but again, it keeps him happy, and that's the main thing really. I know quite a lot, excuse me, I know quite a lot of people have actually said about, oh, that's like this slinky and stuff like that, so obviously he's making awareness of it. Also, Ben hates his routine being changed. He's getting better at it, I do have to admit, as he's got older. When he was younger, he physically hates having his routine. So, because I know at school they have their own set routines, which really helps him anyway. And also, he's not aware of his surroundings so much. Obviously, if he wants something, he'll just push people past to get it. We're out and about, he can be a bit of a nightmare. Obviously, with Ben, he's food related, he loves his food. So, we have to be careful when someone out and about got a drink or something to eat, because he'll just grab the hands, and we have to physically restrain him sometimes, just for his own safety, really. Also, some children or adults with autism headbang, but Ben doesn't headbang. Like I say, he just physically bangs his ears like this constantly. A couple of months ago, he actually gave himself a black eye for why he was actually physically banging his head or his hands on the sides of his face like this. It's horrible to see him with his black eye, because obviously he can't tell us, bless him. That's the problem with him, and that's why hopefully his communication will come on well with the PECs, which we showed you before, and also his Macleod signs. We always hope that one day he will talk through his sounds, because he is getting quite noisy, and we do something called intense. I can't think what it is. It's intense something. Anyway, what it is, where he makes a sound and you copy exactly the same sound he makes, and then you try to alter it slightly and see if he copies you. It has got a name. I can't think what the name is actually called now. One thing I do have to say about Ben though, is some people with autism, they don't like the physical contact. But I have to say, Ben does love his kisses, he loves his cuddles, which is nice, because if when you're having a bad day, he'll just come up to you, give you a kiss or a cuddle, you know, and it means something for him. And obviously, it does bring a tear to your eye. One thing, obviously, is tickles, though. He's not very ticklish. Again, I don't know if that due to his autism, I do not know. But yeah, and also, like I said, like the loud noises, he really doesn't like. Not too quite sure about smells though, actually, because we went on the Buffalo ride at Chessington. That's quite sensitive on the smells, and it wasn't too bad about the smells, but lights. He absolutely loves lights. Again, with Christmas lights, that's why we tend to not really do it as much as Ben's really as well, but we tend to obviously put all the lights around everywhere. Ben absolutely loves all the lights. Obviously, because he's sensory, he also got his fibre optic lights and his bubble tube, which was funded through Capital Children for us a few years ago. And he absolutely loves that. He'll sit there for hours playing with these lights, wrapping them around his fingers, and I just don't know how he does it. Even with his spring, he does that with his spring constantly. And again, it's just a sensory issue. And again, he also chews things in his mouth. Again, I think because it's, again, the sensory thing, he likes the sensation in his mouth for some reason. Not too quite sure why he does that. Also, some children with autism, even adults, they haven't got no imagination skills, they've got no role playing, and also they play with the car very differently. I don't know if any of you noticed through the vlogs, when Ben has a car, he doesn't really push it along, he'll just tip it up and spin the wheels round and round and round. Now, it's one classic sign of autism. But I do have to give him credit though, over the last few months he has actually started on the floor, rolling the car, pushing the car. So what we tend to do, what we started doing with him now is either me or Stephen will sit with Ben and I will sit at the other end, we'll get him to push it to us and roll it. He quite enjoys doing that. And even with the ball as well, he's learned to catch a ball. Obviously it's a sort of soft ball, and you have to say to him, Ben, give me the ball. You sometimes have to tell him 2 or 3 times, and sometimes he forgets, but I do have to admit, even his eye contact's getting better now, because some children with autism, they have no eye contact. Ben did it for ages. Like I say, it's only been the last 3-4 months his eye contact's there. So anyway, I hope that explains a little bit about autism. If you want to fill in more questions, just put them down below and I'll answer them best I can for you. So it doesn't say thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.